G'day, we're Keza and Steve. We've swapped the daily grind for the big lap. 12 months in our Ford Everest and off-road caravan with our spoilt furry child, Nala. It's all about adventure before dementia. Making memories one magical campsite at a time. Please follow us along on our journey.
This is our campsite at Oak Bay Campground. We've got site number 1. Right on the corner, nice open space. Nice bit of shade under the tree.
Stokes Bay Campground sits just behind one of Kangaroo Island's most iconic beaches. Out here, the days feel slow, and the wildlife moves at its own rhythm. Kangaroos graze through camp at sunset, wallabies slip between the bushes, and goannas wander the warm sand. We found 4 koalas in the trees at the campground. This was a special feeling, seeing these iconic creatures wild in their own habitat and right next to where we set up camp. Just magic.
After setting up camp, we set off to explore Stokes Bay. We didn't quite realise what we were in for.
The walk into Stokes Bay feels almost misleading at first. You follow a path towards a wall of massive boulders and it generally looks like the beach is blocked off. Then you notice it, a narrow gap tucked between the rocks. Step inside and everything shifts. The sound of the ocean echoes through the passage, light spills down the stone walls and the air cools as you weave through the twists and the turns. And then, in one sudden reveal, the rocks open up to a stretch of white sand and turquoise water. It feels like discovering a hidden beach carved out by the sea itself.
This is Stokes Bay in Kangaroo Island. What a beautiful little spot. Bit of a track in here. It's well worth it, I think. There's the water.
Hi. Might be our first swim, I think. 17th of January.
This was the 17th of January, and up until this point, apart from a single day at Sea Spray, we really didn't have any temperatures where we felt like swimming. We've had very cold days and gale force winds for most of the trip up until now. We're here enjoying the sunset at Stokes Beach.
Just at Stokes Bay Campground. We've got this little fella here. And up in the tree up there, we got another little fella laying on his back. And then, above me here, there's a third little fella. How cool is that? And there's our camp over there.
Our first day exploring Kangaroo Island. Heading out for the day, we'll do a few things around Emu Bay and Kingscote. Here we are at Emu Bay. What a beautiful little spot. Look at that water, it is stunning. Flat as flat. Water here at Emu Bay is absolutely clear. Just saw some fish feeding off the bottom there, and you can see everything. It's just amazing, isn't it?
Mm.
Ray, Emu Bay, going under the jetty. Shows how clear the water is. How cool is that, eh? This water is so clear you can actually see the swan's feet moving under the water. Emu Bay has a council campground, same as Stokes Bay and Avon Bay where we're staying. They're just $20 a night, which is nothing really in the scheme of things.
It'd be a great one to stay at with the beach just there. And
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
about 200 metres to the jetty and the beach.
Left on the
Campground.
Bay Road.
Beaches appears to be 40 kilometres an hour, except for when there's people about, when it drops to 25. We made our way into Kingscote. This is a quiet little coastal town with a vibe that hits you as soon as you roll in. The town sits on Nepean Bay, with calm water, a long foreshore, and a jetty where plenty of people have a crack at catching dinner. There are little penguins that waddle up along the shoreline. There's history tucked into the old stone walls at Reeves Point, colourful silo art, and cafes serving honey from the island's famous Ligurian bees. It's the kind of town that feels simple, friendly, and pretty perfect. We couldn't visit Kingscote without sampling some of the local brews at the Kangaroo Island brewery. We also visited the Island Beehive, where we could see the bees working a hive through the glass panels in the hive, and where they come in and out of the building up through a clear tube. It was pretty amazing.
Here we are at the Bay of Shoals winery. We're the only ones in the whole winery today because apparently there's a big horse race in town. So how lucky are we to be here all by ourselves, tasting their delicious wines and their cheese platter. Nala's living her best life. Nice. Cheers.
This is American River. Wind is still blowing.
And it's freezing.
And it's freezing. Wouldn't think this is the middle of January. I don't know if that tide's going out that fast or whether that's the wind doing that, but looks to be flowing pretty fast, doesn't it? American River is one of those spots that feels hidden in plain sight. The whole town wraps around this calm inlet where boats barely make a ripple and pelicans just cruise past like locals. Down at the wharf, you'll see fishing boats unloading their catch, and every now and then a dolphin pops up to check things out. Pelican Lagoon is just around the corner. No motors, no noise, just glassy water and stacks of bird life. We grabbed half a dozen fresh oysters from the little farm shop, and Karen put some postcards in the mail for the grandkids. There wasn't much else to do here. We could have walked a few tracks but decided against it. Then it was time to go in search of the legendary lavender scone. The size of that.
The verdict on the lavender scone
Pretty good.
was huge. It was like
Was.
4 scones. If somebody had told me how huge it was, I would never have believed. And this is a gorgeous little spot, look. It's got all the old farm machinery stuff hanging around in the trees and things. Little pond over there with a bridge on it.
We based ourselves for 2 nights at Vivon Bay Campground. It is council-owned campground. There are dump, toilets, power and water. Cost was $37 per night. Our site was number 8. It was very hard to get into because the facility was packed and there were 2 large trees hindering access. We managed to get in, but not without a few choice words.
Beautiful morning at Vivon Bay. After a quick stroll, a bit of exercise before we head off for a couple of hours to look at remarkable rocks and Admiral's Arch. She'll sit in the van, the aircon on. It's her safe place, she loves it there. Going into Flinders Chase National Park on Kangaroo Island, called into the visitor centre to pay our entry fees, and they told us it was free, or part of a new South Australian government incentive until Easter 2026. No charge for entries to this park and a few other parks in South Australia, coastal parks in South Australia. So good little run in, a bit slow, 60 kilometres an hour speed limit, but a lot of greenery on the side of the road to look at as we go.
What are we going to see, Steve?
We're going to go and see Admiral's Arch and remarkable rocks. I've heard that they're quite remarkable. Remarkable rocks and Admiral's Arch are in Flinders Chase National Park. This meant we couldn't take Nala with us that time, but she'd be at home in the caravan, living her best life.
The road into Remarkable Rocks just builds the anticipation. You come over a rise and they're sitting on the edge of a cliff. calling for people to come and view their unique and spectacular formations. Remarkable Rocks is one of those places that doesn't just look impressive, it feels ancient the moment you step onto the boardwalk. These massive granite boulders have been sitting on this cliff top for more than 500 million years. Wind, rain and salt from the Southern Ocean have carved them into these wild shapes. Curves, hollows, arches and edges that look like they've been sculpted by an artist with a lot of patience. As you walk closer, the scale hits you. Some of these rocks are the size of houses, balanced on a dome of exposed granite that drops away to the ocean below. The wind up here has a voice of its own, a deep, constant roar that reminds you just how exposed this coastline really is. The colours are something else. The orange patches you see aren't paint. They're lichen, clinging to the granite and glowing bright in the sun. At sunrise and sunset, the whole formation lights up like it's on fire. It's one of those moments where you just stop filming for a second and take it in. When you wander between the rocks, every angle feels different. One side looks like a wave frozen in time. Another looks like a giant claw reaching toward the sky. And then there are the little pockets, smooth bowls carved out by centuries of wind and sand blasting across the surface. Standing here, it's easy to imagine what this coastline has been through. Australia drifting north, oceans rising and falling, storms hammering the cliffs year after year, and through all of it, these rocks have just stayed, slowly changing, slowly shaping, slowly becoming what we see today. Down below, the Southern Ocean crashes into the cliffs with this raw, untamed energy. It's a reminder that nature is still carving away at these rocks, even now. Give it another few thousand years and they'll look different again. Remarkable Rocks isn't just a photo stop, it's a place that makes you feel small in the best possible way. A reminder of how old this land is, and how much of its story we'll never fully understand. We couldn't make it here for sunrise or sunset, and the day was pretty gloomy, but we made the most of this spot, one of the true icons of Kangaroo Island, a natural sculpture gallery shaped by time, weather, and the endless power of the ocean. And honestly, standing here with the wind howling in your face and the sea roaring below, it's pretty clear why they call them remarkable.
Here at Remarkable Rocks, at a 400 metre walk down the boardwalk. The rocks are very, very remarkable. What do you think of it, Dave?
Remarkable. A bit golden, maybe. Right, you've got nice little square.
walking down to Admiral's Lookout. Admiral's Arch. Walking down to Admiral's Arch. Another nice little boardwalk, nice easy walk. Pretty rugged coastline, mate. Look at it.
Glad I'm not on that boat out there.
I'm glad I'm not on that boat out there.
Admiral's Arch is one of the wildest spots on Kangaroo Island. A boardwalk winds down the cliffs to a huge natural rock arch carved by the Southern Ocean. Stalactites hang from the ceiling, waves crash below, and a whole colony of fur seals sprawls across the rocks. It's raw, windy, and one of the best views on the island.
How cool is that, Karen?
Golden.
Golden.
It's amazing.
Is it, mate?
Kangaroo Island is home to Raptor Domain, a wildlife sanctuary that showcases Australia's finest predators.
And I've got one more glove if anyone's lovely. I'll get you in the back to come up and grab that. And then you guys tuck those gloves up and stand in front of whoever's going to get a photo. She will wake herself up and do a little bit of a flight over. There she goes. And she might turn around, you're welcome to move around. I will get you to stay seated. She can be a bit nervous if everyone's standing up. She can be a bit of a nervous gal at times. You are welcome to turn around so she's facing a little bit better. But the thing everyone always comments on Orima when she first comes out, the most obvious thing about her is her huge little posture. She's got a look, not the best posture. She looks like she's had a bit of a rough day. You're looking a bit more upright at the moment. Yeah, perfect. Alrighty. 3, 2, 1. Shoot! Bit late there. There's our beautiful girl Shush, and I will see if she wants to do a flight down here in a moment. She's got to check her surroundings and make sure everything's looking safe. Shush! But does anyone know what kind of bird Shush is? An owl? Yeah, she is an owl. More specifically though, she's actually a barn owl. Here she comes. She's like, look at me, I'm so pretty. But yeah, she's a barn owl. We do get them on every continent in the world except for Antarctica. So very, very widespread one.
Banjo and Patterson. So these guys are beautiful laughing kookaburras. Is everybody familiar with this species? Yes. So they're one of two species of kookaburra we have here in Australia. One of 4 species in the world. So these guys are another example of predatory birds. So they're going to be eating, catching prey with their beaks. So like I said, one of 2 species of kookaburra we have in Australia. We've also got, oh, beautiful bench. Good job. We also have the blue-winged kookaburra up north. Even though these guys have blue on their wings, they are actually, the one up north has a lot more vivid blue. And
Probably up next. So we've got 2 of our beautiful parrots out at the moment, thinking for everybody. So up here we've got Manny. She is one of our red-tailed black cockatoos. So they do get that name for the males. The males have a bright red band on their tails. The girls look less red-taily, so she's got all those beautiful yellow dots on her. To have a go. I'll give you this sign. Did you want to have a go? I'm not seeing a volunteer. Did anyone not have a go? You want to have a go? I think everyone's happy. 5 eggs. We'll make Maddie work for her nuts today. She'll be very pleased to get all the yummy snacks. And yeah, you're welcome to turn around so she's facing the camera and things like that, depending on how she is. You can see he's a bit better at beautiful boy. He just doesn't always want to work. And he doesn't always want to work for me. He has his favourite, and I am not a favourite, unfortunately.
Here we are at Seal Bay. Gonna go down on the sand and play with the seals. Hopefully. Hopefully. Hopefully there's some down there for us to see.
Seal Bay is home to one of the rarest sea lion species on the planet, the Australian sea lion. And watching this colony live their daily life along the sand is something you don't forget. These sea lions have one of the slowest breeding cycles of any marine mammal. A mother raises just 1 pup every 18 months, which means every single pup here is incredibly important, and that long cycle shapes everything about how this colony survives. When a mother heads out to sea to hunt, she's gone for a long time. Most foraging trips last 2 to 3 days, sometimes even longer if food is hard to find. She'll dive deep, travel far, and burn a huge amount of energy just to bring back enough milk for her pup. While she's gone, the pup waits on the beach, completely dependent, completely vulnerable. They can't hunt, they can't swim far, and they can't survive without their mother's return. So they rest in the dunes, call out, and listen for her voice across the colony. When the mother finally returns, she finds her pup by sound and smell. The reunion is instant. The pup races over and feeding begins straight away. It's one of the strongest bonds in the animal world, and you can see it right here on the sand. Out in the water, the mothers are incredible hunters. They dive deep for squid, octopus and fish, sometimes staying underwater for more than 10 minutes at a time. But when a pup follows, everything changes. The dives get shorter, the hunting slows down, and the mother becomes a teacher. Seal Bay is one of the last strongholds for this species. With such slow breeding and such long separations between mother and pup, every individual here matters. And standing on this beach, watching their world unfold, you really feel just how fragile and how special this colony is. This is Seal Bay, a place where the ocean shapes everything and where the future of an entire species plays out right in front of you.
This is Prospect Hill. There's a lot of steps there if we make it to the top. It's a long way now. Too excited. Twenty-two, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35.
God, it's enough.
100. Oh. One 99, 200, 201, 202, 203, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 301, 302. 340, 341, 342, 343, 344. Wow. So we left Bivon Bay, heading to Paddy Shore to the caravan park for tonight. It's lunchtime now, so we decided we'll head out to False Cape Wines for a wine tasting and some lunch. Ended up on this narrow dirt road. Well, we've got an off-road van and car, but the adventures.
We enjoyed a wine tasting and lunch at False Cape Wines, and we purchased a few bottles for later use on the road. Yes, these pies were as good as they look. We are set up at Pennyshore Seafront Holiday Park. Our spot for tonight until we catch the boat back across the mainland tomorrow.
You can literally see the mainland.
Can literally see the mainland? Oh yeah. There it is. Straight out there.
That water.
Our final stay on Kangaroo Island was at Pennyshore. We stayed at the Seafront Holiday Park, Pennyshore. It was a great location. We spent the afternoon exploring the town and the evening doing the little penguin tour. Finally, it was time to jump on the ferry and head back to the mainland. Kangaroo Island really amazed us. The wildlife and the beaches were stunning. It may cost a little bit to get your car and caravan over, but we felt that it was worth it. That brings us to the end of this episode. Join us next time where we play with the dolphins, experience some stunning sunsets, and endure through some extreme heat. We also have our first beach camp. If you enjoyed this episode, hit like, subscribe, and stay with us for the next chapter. Thanks for being part of the story. Cheers for now, Keza and Steve.